Okay, shithead, let's get started. Notice how I didn't pluralize the word. I'm specifically referring to you, the singular shithead. Makes it a lot more personable, don't you think? And that's how I retain my audience. I have 1.2 CTR, but we don't talk about that. Per video, on average. um, yes, we're continuing onward. This is going to be my last day for sketchbooking, for the artwod course, specifically the one where it's what, like assignment 2, module 2, some shit like that, where it's just draw shit from reference and render them, right? Shadows, try to think about shadows. I don't even know if I've done a decent job, but yeah, let's move on let's just keep going. Also, I did make an error a couple of videos ago where I mentioned the when I pronounced when I said that song Manike, and I said it's in Sinhalese. It's not Sinhalese, it's Sinhalese. So I do apologize, right? Just like they should apologize for massacring my people. I was trying to make a profound point there about how genocide bad, but my own stutter fucked everything up. So clearly genocide good, right? If you can't enunciate and articulate yourself fluently in one sentence, you should be able to make a point in the first place. Great song though. All right, let's get started. Okay, I'm gonna start with, and I just recently watched a video of his on artwod where he talks about, again, I'm shilling for them 100%, but this is a genuine shilling because this skill you see right here, it's because of them. Skill, I guess. I don't know, should I quote this? I guess for a beginner, this was pretty skilled, right? So yeah, this is because of them. And by the way, I don't practice drawing from reference. This ability you see here is purely because I practice drawing boxes and cylinders. So, well, manipulations, all that shit. Just drill the fuck out of their program, and just copy me and give me money, right? Specifically, give them money first. So when you're validated in your choices because you've seen progress, come back and give me money because it's me you listen to give them money. Capiche? But yeah, I'm just gonna focus on the form first and have fun with it. One thing I really like that Antonio does is he always talks about having fun. So if only my fucking pen would work. There it is. And again, this is all great practice for me to also work on my line control, right? Because that could always use work. I just need to think how this is gonna look in grand scheme of things. Rendering is very difficult. I do want to mention, at least for me, but I assume for anybody who's a beginner, it's difficult because there's a lot of shit going on. These are basically little branches and shit on the reference that I'm drawing. And again, I don't know if this is a good way to go about it, but I'm really trying to keep in mind what Antonio said about specifically understanding the forms, right? Sticks really are just cylindrical shapes. You know, that's all they are. That's all they ever will be, right? Not to racially profile sticks or anything, but come on, they all look the same. Let's be real. So well, I can try incorporating a little bit of gesture here. And this probably looks more like a leaf, I guess, than a stick. So that's something I'll have to work on, obviously. But honestly, I really like being patient with art. You know, my best work comes, pun intended, right there. That was my best work coming last time. But my best work arrives, yes, when I take my time, to be honest. So there's dirt and shit over here. How would we? How do you showcase dirt? Is it just through this? I don't know. Let's try it out. There's a lot more shit going on here, but if I'll come back to this obviously, and I'll render it properly. But there's a bunch of like leaves and vines and shit here too. So again, it's kind of thinking about how do I showcase this, right? Especially when it comes to values. I don't know shit about values. I know they exist. I think I mentioned those last time too, but I know values exist. I understand the concept of values, but actually, effectively utilizing them and understanding them is something I'm still working on. But I know, like, I do see that this section over here, basically all of this is dark, right, in the reference image, and then it kind of bleeds around here. That's also dark. So it's about training your eye at the end of the day, right? If I train my eye, then it should be fine. But training your eye also takes time and a good, well-intentioned effort. And we all know I have the worst of intentions, so that's why art is so difficult. This is basically like the right side of a stick that I'm trying to replicate. But again, it's also something that I'm just not sure of how to do, right? Right now, as you can see, I'm kind of just focusing on outlining it. Does that look like a stick? Maybe it will when I add the shadows, right? When I add these specific shadows. And I am changing the reference a bit. But I think it helps. Same with here, like if there's a couple shadows here that I can and then there, that kind of looks like a stick, right? I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna take a little break. Actually, wait, let me just fix this. That white spot doesn't need to be there. Okay. I mean, that white spot does not need to be there. I realized I need to enunciate. This is not a new realization or novel whatsoever, but I've thought about it, and perhaps those who watch will simply get used to the way in which I speak, how fast I speak randomly, me murmuring to myself. Sometimes I don't even know what the fuck I'm saying. There was a couple of videos ago where I was like, all right, and I made a retarded noise. And I was like, what the fuck did I say? I don't know. I watched it 2 to 3 times over. I didn't know what I said. But I know it was funny and clever, so yeah. Oh, and good news, my second copyright or content ID claim was removed. So thank you and suck my dick, Music Pro, you pussies, for sending your goddamn claim. That's what happens when you're destroyed with facts and logic. That's what fucking happens. Okay, now this here, this is basically a bunch of dirt and shit going up to this mushroom. So we could do something like this. could also just try rendering like this. Again, that video I watched, if I just focus on the contour lines, I think at the very least it makes for some interesting shapes, right? If I just fill this shit up. It's supposed to be much darker in the reference, but it's supposed to be like a bunch of shit here. It's very dark in the reference, but again, I think I'm at this point it's clear I'm taking creative liberties, right? Because that's how we do it. That's how you learn, no? So why not just continue onwards? Because again, what am I thinking about? I'm thinking about the form. Am I really thinking too much about exactly how it looks in the reference? Perhaps I should be, but then I don't know if I'm learning, to be honest. Right? If I'm just copying the reference, Antonio talks about this in the video. What is it? Don't know what to draw? Watch this video or some shit like that. But he basically just says, like, if you're just copying, you're just copying. That's literally all you're doing. You're not really understanding. But in the case of what I'm trying to do right now is, like, what is the tip of a mushroom cap? Well, it is above average. I can attest to that, speaking from personal experience. But it is also, what is the terminology we can use to define this? Language is very important, at least for me, when it comes to knowing what shape I am drawing. Would this be, actually I can just look at my exercises that I do based on artwod's thing. Is this a contour manipulation? Not really. This is, actually, is this a contour manipulation? Yeah, I think this is a cylinder contour manipulation, right? We're just manipulating the contour at the back to be much more essentially rounded off, is the way I'm thinking about it. I know there's gonna be a bunch of people gonna be pissed with my slow way of speaking and then randomly speeding up and then tangents. And I can't wait for those people to give me dislikes. My girlfriend said something very smart. She was all like, haters means you're growing. And I'm like, hashtag truth. Hashtag truth. So yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Thank you for the growth, my haters. Thank you for the growth. Okay, and now here's something else I can do, right? I can do this maybe. Really just follow the contour. But like, yep, not trying to move this. I'm following the contour of the inside of this mushroom cap. Just practicing different rendering techniques. Oh god, fucking kill me. Okay. I'm really glad I've actually started this YouTube channel, because it makes me happy knowing that people can see how much work it takes to even produce something like this, and also the thought processes that go behind it. I try to be honest about whenever I'm making fuck ups. Like, these are all such shoddy lines. I didn't even intend, like, I tried to make this a lot cleaner too, by the way. But this is the thing that you'll hopefully start realizing as I'm getting better, is you learn to live with mistakes. Jesus, I cannot speak today. Mistakes, or your ability to make. Oh fuck me! I moved this. God damn it. Is this okay? I guess it's okay. Nothing really changed. I guess let me move this back slightly. There you go. Okay, now the camera's shaking. Wonderful. If that made it worse, tough titties. Fucking deal with it, you piece of shit. But yeah, your ability to make mistakes just lessens over time. See? And you can kind of adapt to the circumstance, right? And again, you really want to be pursuing mistakes, because if you're not pursuing mistakes, nothing's really happening in terms of growth, right? Really, nothing's happening. Now, I just realized some things look off here, so literally what I could do, and what I'm going to do, is maybe extend this, like so. Now that I've extended that, I might be wondering, well, how are you going to make up for this? Easy peasy, bro. But we have to think about what the perspective of this is. It's essentially if the horizon line's somewhere here, right? That's kind of what I've established. And I could change this. Did that make it worse or better? Probably worse. Most changes I do end up being worse. Ha 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 ha. But I was thinking maybe I should change that anyways. Right? It probably looks worse now, but it's okay. Right? I can just distract you all with some more shading here. And ta-da! But either way, clearly the horizon line is somewhere here. So you can just add shadows there. And I might even change all of this, right? But I could literally just do something like this. Following that example. These are actually supposed to be a bit longer. See, like, this is looking pretty wonky, right? But that is a choice I've made, and that is a choice I'm going to commit to, no matter what happens. Because that's what's art, especially drawing with pen, but that's really what art is about, is okay, you fucked it up, you made mistakes, but at least if you keep committing to the mistake, in this context, if you're studying or practicing something and you made a mistake, it's probably best to just leave it at that, right? But because I'm rendering, I think rendering allows more leeway in terms of the mistakes you are able to make. Because this is very cluttered. I acknowledge it. I know it's very cluttered. But because of, I guess, the repetition, maybe it doesn't look as bad, right? That's also something to think about, is maybe it doesn't look as bad purely based on the repetition. And we also have to remember that this isn't done, you know? I can make a lot of changes moving forward. Yes, this looks fucking retarded. The mush, why is it off? Why is it off center? Literally, why is this mushroom cap off center? Okay, that's unfortunate. Maybe I could extend it, right? Now it doesn't look as off center anymore. And I can still keep this little theme going with following the contour lines. Just that little change, I think, made a decent enough difference. And also, you want to not overdo these. That's another thing, right? I don't want to overdo these little bumps. Again, I don't know what overdoing it is, but I'm trying to keep that stuff in mind, right? We also have something really interesting like this. There's a texture here, and now I'm trying to think whether I should add the texture through the bumps or through some other means. This is also supposed to be a lot darker in terms of value. So you know what I could start doing here at the very least? Just filling it a bit in. Like that, right? And maybe just going over these lines again. Continuing to just reduce the amount of white and increase the amount of black. Like that. And it's even possible. See, okay, so there is shadow here as well. So we can finish extending these. And again, I'm making lots of mistakes. I'm very well aware. But this is how we practice. Because I'm thinking about the contour lines. I'm thinking about those shapes. And this is how you're going to get better at the end of the day, right? By making all these little mistakes. Okay, now this and this, the stem and the back are supposed to be equally as dark, if not the stem being darker. So first I could outline this maybe, right? Just a bit more. So that way the stem is in the foreground to give it some more line weight. And maybe what else I can do is render now vertically. But again, that would mess with it, would it not? I'm trying to think. Well, why don't I just commit and make the entire back of this just black? With maybe a little bit of white shining through, but especially black around the stem, right? Because this right here, this is what's causing a bit of, this area, I think is causing a bit of confusion. Now, Antonio did mention to commit to actually having the blacks be strong, right? So I could just make this all back. But you see how in the art process, you think it's going one way, but then you decide to go a different way? That's what I am learning, at least when it comes to rendering. And obviously I'm drawing from reference, let's not forget. But I think these are all valuable lessons. So let me take another break. Okay, I'm back. All right, now I have a couple choices to be made here. Well, first, is that another branch? Yeah, that's another branch. So we could maybe have this branch come out like so. It's less of a branch and more of just a thicker stem of something. But again, right, I understand the shape that it is. So I've actually changed it already. And then this is a stem over here. Kind of some weird leaves around it. Some more dirt, I guess. And then some more leaves. And it kind of creates a nice exit point for this composition. And it's funny enough, it's wrapped a stick, something like this, underneath this. And this could also lead the eye towards something else, right? Like this interesting looking, cylindrical almost, well, not almost, well, it is, object here, which is this little exit point. Again, like I'm not saying I know what I'm doing per se, because I really don't. But I'm just allowing myself to have fun with whatever I am doing. You know what I mean? And I'm still trying to learn, right? I'm still trying to think about these contours. Still trying to practice is the most important thing, right? All of this is very intentional practice, in my opinion, for me, right? I'm not doing. I'm doing my best to not do this half-assed, because this is different than imaginative drawing, right? It's not about visualizing as much as it is understanding based on what you're looking at. So it's a different type of visualizing, right? Where I'm still making changes, but I'm also really doing my best to understand the form while making those changes, right? That's sort of the application part of it's the application part, I'd say, that works in conjunction with the there you go, that was waiting to come out. You could probably hear me fucking choking on my own dick, but it's the application part of the whole imaginative process, I think. See, again, like this is supposed to be much darker, so just naturally let it build up. And now that looks a bit more unique, right? Still lots of white areas here. Now if I go through it maybe a bit lighter, I guess that's cool. Drawing environments is actually really fun. Or not environments, but I guess plant-like matter of the sort. This one's kind of like flaky, so this could actually, yeah, this could be like a little flaky mushroom. This one's more bumpy. And now I'm trying to add the rendering, the interesting textures that I see here, right? And again, this is all practice, because I don't know. Like you see, I'm doing different things, right? I'm doing different types of rendering, practicing different things. It's all gonna look very different. There's not one specific set of quote unquote rendering technique that I'm focusing on using, because for me, see, I could just make this like a completely black shadow. For me, it's not about that. And this could be a lighter area, and then we're back to being a darker area. Yeah, for me, it's not about that. It's just, I'm trying to figure out how I can just showcase detail in different ways. Like this is one way, this has been one way, this has been another way. Look, they look completely different, right? But that's just me figuring things out. See? And then I can maybe do a couple little things like this, quick strokes to give the edge some prominence. Oh, my girlfriend did actually, when I showed it to her, she said this looked odd. So maybe I can refine it to get more of an outline. Right? Using these tiny little strokes. First, practice on yourself before you practice on the paper, guys. That's a really good tip I can give, apart from the one that I have. And if you're not a guy, then what do you think this pen is for? Oh, my back! Almost pulled my back. Never make a sexist joke like that again, Viggy. You have angered. Who have I angered, actually? I don't know. But you've angered somebody, that's for sure. Did that make it better or worse? To be determined. There, something like that. Again, this is all just practice, right? In my eyes, it looks like whatever, but I'm trying to learn is the most important thing. And to give this a bit more form, we could do something like this. Right now, this is a bit of a mushroom cap going over. And you can see they're like, okay, this is the form, right? At least that's the intent I'm trying to get across. And you'll notice, like, this has taken me very long. It's only been, it's not only, it's already been half an hour, and I'm not even done this, like the grass or anything, right? But I think another half hour should be able to. But you see how it's very specific, very intentional, small things that add up over time. Like, what else is missing here? Well, I could maybe render this a bit more. There, now that edge has more definition. Maybe that shadow can do that, and then I just, there you go. Darken this, some dark, and then light. I don't think that worked, right? But maybe it did. There you go. Add a bit more, maybe bumps, little shadows here, right? We could leave this as is. Just add a bit more of those contour lines. And I guess I could, oh wait, I know what's missing. This looks way too rigid. There you go. Something like that, right? It's nothing incredible, but it's honestly really fun. Like, I'm just having fun. Whether I'm rendering correctly or not, I'm genuinely just having a lot of fun. And I think that's what's the most important. Same with here, like I'm going to attempt something, and I'm going to do this. Following the form. I think that looks pretty cool, to be honest. And I could just do maybe the same thing here. maybe. Yeah, I think I'll leave that. That looks pretty interesting. Oh shit! I keep fucking hitting this stupid ass. I gotta keep my foot on the floor, bro. I just have my foot on the goddamn my chair, like the rolly thingies, as they say. What the fuck am I even saying? The chair, it's a rolling chair, whatever these the wheels, yeah, the stand wheels. My feet is resting. My feet is resting. You fucking immigrant. My feet are resting on that. I'm white. Don't you worry. But yeah, I actually think that looks pretty cool. And then let's add some shadows to this. That looks pretty interesting. Oh, and this can be like that. Again, keeping in mind the form that's being created. Right? Cool. I think this could be a bit darker. There you go. Now it blends seamlessly into that. Or, in my opinion, right? I'm not a fucking not form, what am I saying? Rendering or sketchbooking expert. Sometimes it's just about rule of cool, right? Does it look interesting? If the answer is yes, then cool. Okay. Then I actually made up the direction of this form, but I think it worked out in my favor. There you go. Again, like, is this good? To be determined by essentially you, the audience. But I like it. I think it looks okay. Just do that. This is supposed to be like a stick slash some random shit that's just kind of stuck here. One thing else I need to practice is just not doing this part, right? Where I'm actually using the brush pen's thingamajiggy, the brush. Not to rush into that. Okay, and that looks kind of interesting too. Okay, well now it's getting off center. Cool. Okay, and then there's like random shite here. I could just, I guess. Yeah, okay, whatever. I think that looks whatever. I don't know. Let's just leave that as it is. This is completely black, but I'm gonna leave some white. Let's do some rendering here. Yeah, even just follow the form, right? It's the biggest thing. Same thing here. Just follow the form. And then this is basically all black. Apart from some random little vines or whatever. Right? Shit like that. there's a bunch of cool looking leaves here actually on this side. So I could just oh, there's a big ass. Oh, actually, that is the stick I drew. No, it's not. There's another big ass stick over here. And then it's leading into some interesting shapes. Looks like a cylinder to me. And this is kind of, I don't know what this is, but this is like another cylinder. And then this is another stick. So, yeah, and then there's like a bunch of leaves and shit in the background of all of this. So let's just, why don't we, yeah, let's see, we're not trying to make it too bloated, right? I want this to be the focus point. It doesn't really matter what's in the background. So let's just pretend like the background doesn't exist. Just start adding little details like leaves and dirt and all that stuff, right? I could do the same thing here. If actually, this is a great way to, at least it seems like a great way to showcase dirt and all that shit. This is kind of what the leaf looks like. There's more of that. I want to maintain chaos within the whole nature aspect of things while still, of course, focusing on form. Right? A lot of these are kind of just random shapes being strung about. Not random, by the way, but nature is chaotic, right? So we want to acknowledge that part. And these are much lighter. These are very, very green. So we also want to make sure that it stands out in comparison to other things. So I could just make that a bit darker, right? The brush pen's actually really good for this, from what I can tell. You know, of just adding a little bit of chaotic elements to the mix. Like this is really cool. Look at this, just going like this. And now it's like, look, we have dirt-ish, right? That's really cool in my opinion. And I think this is definitely something that is a strength of this medium. Because I can still indicate form. Like, look, there's like random dirt here. Right? Indicate the form while still kind of just pressing down and, I guess, increasing or darkening the value, you would call it. Right? That looks really cool to me. Fuck, that looks really cool to me. Okay, let me take a break. I still have to do my top right drawing, so I fucked myself with this thumbnail format, but to be honest, this stuff looks really interesting. I think it looks pretty aesthetic, right? So it's what it is. I'm back, bitches! And we are going to continue onwards. So basically this... What the fuck happened to my pen? Okay, well... Jesus, so... Again, these are like... the little... this is the plant, right? And this plant actually has a really nice composition now that I look at it properly. Which is... basically, it's this sort of almost crescent-like shape. And again, this is something that I've realized is it doesn't really have to look perfect, right? I can start adding little gaps and I think as well. This plant can just be something that at times I add these little shapes, but at other times I can just leave it as is. You know, This is what kind of I think they mean when they say you want to have breathing room for the piece to actually shine, right? This might be what they mean. Again, I'm no expert. I want to stress that because I'm literally still learning, right? I'm learning as much as any of you are, but I just happen to maybe either be on the same path as you or further along, right? So that's something important to keep in mind, is the fact that I'm still figuring things out very much so. And I've kind of, again, I would really recommend the book Rendering in Pen and Ink by Arthur Guptill, because so much of my rendering that I'm doing is based on just not even practicing anything from that book, but I read a few pages and then I went to a section because I was drawing something for my friend for his birthday, right? And I needed to know how to render leaves. So I just went to the trees and leaves. So I went to the trees and leaves section and I just looked at the patterns he used. And then it just clicked to me where I'm like, oh, it's just patterns, right? So it's just beauty, chaos, and patterns. That's all it is. And I'm no genius. Like I wasn't like, oh my god, eureka moment. But if I can do it, you can do it. You know what I mean? Like it's nothing special. I'll be honest. Like figuring this out, half of it is just knowledge, right? The rest is painful application. And I say painful in the sense that like it. Actually, I'm not gonna say painful because that's putting a negative connotation on learning. It's not painful application. I take that back. It's just very consistent, strict to a degree, right? Some might use the word tedious. I like to use the word patient. It's not painful. I apologize for that. It's patient application, right? And some may find patience to be something painful. I disagree. I vehemently disagree. Why? Because I used to be just like you, and I gave up on art many times when practicing. But now that I'm here, I can very, I guess, confidently say, please keep continuing, right? You guys are seeing me get better as time goes on. Hopefully, I'm getting better. But that's just something that comes with, as you can see, I'm doing an hour a day, right? Roughly. That's just something that comes with time. You're not getting this without time, my friends. So, yeah, just keep going. I believe in you. But you have to believe in yourself first. So, genuinely, just keep going. And again, like I'm not really sure what I'm doing. There's a shadow here. Okay, and it's going along the form like that. But then there's a little bit of, okay. And then we got some chaos here in terms of values. Okay, this is supposed to be a stick, but let me actually start rendering it like a stick a little bit. There's that. These don't need to be fully dark. That maybe? Again, I don't want to get impatient. Like I was doing that very fast, so suddenly I personally may have a tendency, and I do, right? It's just like, oh, okay, everything has to be fast now, fast, fast, fast. But that's not true. Some things are fast, some things are slow, right? That otherwise, how else am I gonna really be particular and intentful? You know. So that's what I'm trying to keep in mind, is that just because I'm doing one thing fast doesn't mean suddenly everything's fast. Calm down, brother. Calm down and let things just jive. See, now I'm jiving. Okay. There you go. We outline that form a little bit. That looks a bit chaotic, but if I do something like this, hopefully that outlines the form a little bit more. And what else is there? Well, I've actually kind of lost a lot of what's going on here, so it might be just best to leave it as is. Right? That can just be something random for the time being. Okay, and what should be done about this? Right? maybe just, it's not going to look like what the actual reference looks like, but maybe I could just add a little bit of these, right? A little bit of consistency. Again, repetition and consistency. So if I add that, make it follow the form, like so. And let's, again, continue to block out anything outside of that. And is it done? I guess it's done. Am I done? I mean, let's see. Maybe I could just add a little bit of rendering, right? Oh, god damn, that was a powerful burp. Again, you might notice I maybe have a tendency to overcrowd things, but I'm just figuring it out as I go along, right? But I do want this to be a bit more prominent, so I'm just gonna outline specific parts of this. Hopefully it doesn't mess it up. That's usually how it goes with me, right? It looks decent, then it doesn't look decent, and then it does look decent, and then it doesn't look decent. If you're hoping for, oh, and then it gets better, not with me apparently. So let's not make it too incoherent. There you go. Now we can see like it kind of ends there. There you go. Same thing. Let's just outline this a little. Again, I do want to outline this to a degree. Okay, I think it's actually been more lost in translation than ever. But that's okay. I made a mistake. I live with that mistake, right? Don't touch it anymore. Basic, just shadows and rendering here. Wait. Okay, I think it's done. Actually, this should probably be a bit darker. Okay. This I fucked up. It was definitely better before, but yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. Let's just maybe add some like that so we know this is dirt. Okay, well, and I'm gonna leave that as is. Let's not touch anything more. Well, hopefully this was a fun little rendering exercise for you all to watch, right? I'm still figuring things out. Let's not forget. Man, it's really frustrating how this is so lost in translation. Did that help maybe? Maybe that helped a little bit. Yeah, it's whatever. It is what it is. Can't do anything about it. That's supposed to be some sort of leaf thingy, but I clearly did not commit as much as I could have, so now it kind of just looks like something. Like what? We don't know, but it looks like something, right? Maybe I could even add Something like that. Right? That doesn't actually exist, but maybe it'll help make it look more like what I was intending it to look like. Maybe. Maybe. Okay, whatever. Let's leave it, guys. It's chaotic, it's messy, it's not incredible, but it's mine. Oh, it's mine. I say as I continue to fucking add shit. I can't help it. God damn it, I can't help it. Oh, it looks so bad. There you go. Sure. Whatever. Leave it. Leave it. Don't touch it. You've already fucked it up the butt enough. Just leave it. It's chaotic, it's messy, it's retarded. It's my precious. Here, let me put a little heart here. Wee. That looks more like a butt. Okay, let's make it fart then. There you go. It's farting. Might as well give it the crack while we're at it. There you go. There you go. Ta-da! Whatever this was, I had lots of fun. I had incredible amounts of fun. I'm gonna take another break and then let me look for a reference that I can do for my top right drawing that's gonna debate all of you into thinking that's what the video is about. Oh, this is gonna be a good rendering practice. I'm gonna do this. This is gonna be a great rendering practice, actually. Okay, I think I'm just gonna do one more thing, lol. Just let's make it a bit more solid, right? Wow, I think that just that made a huge difference. Just making it a bit more solid, feel like, okay, it is resting on something. These aren't just random softness or hardness going on. There you go. And we have to choose my little dark spots as well, like that. I'm trying to lead the eye there, right? And lead the eye here as well. So again, is this legit? Who knows? But maybe it's helping. And then we want the eye to be here too. You still don't know where to look. Let's be honest. I don't even know where the fuck I want to look. But whatever. That's what it is. There you go. Ta-da. Okay. And okay. I think I'm leaving it. This is I'm gonna stop touching this. Let this be a lesson to everybody watching. Stop. Literally just stop. Just stop doing exactly what I'm doing. I can't help it. Just fucking okay. It's done. It's done. I'm moving on. Fucking give it a little kiss. Mwah. There you go. I love you. Alright? I'm done with you. Goodbye. Goodbye. Oh god, that's the fucking other page. Okay, well. I will fill up those other spots. Like it's blank here, right? Like fucking what? Like that shit, it's blank. I'll fill that up, but that'll be on my own time. This is for specifically my top right, my good old top right. Okay, this picture that I'm using as a reference is the pot with flowers, and I'm just going to practice drawing basic rendering. Like, this is actually a great practice for Arthur Guptill's uh like rendering in pen and ink, like what he, like the whole symbolism thing I was talking about. The fuck symbolism thing? Symbols, right? They're just patterns, not symbols. God damn it, patterns. The shit what I was saying. Whatever, you know what I'm trying to say. You probably don't actually, but still. Okay, so it's like that, and then like yonder donder, right? We okay. I'll probably draw over some of that, but it's literally just this little. This is what I mean, right? Because then there's also some patterns like that. Well, that was an accident, but we can fix that, right? See, I'm at the tail end of my art ability, so I'm getting lazy. Getting very lazy. But what I will try to do at the very least is focus on the repetition that I was speaking of. Right? Where there's a bunch of flowers, different ways, and we are just trying to capture the form and make sure that there's very little repetition happening. That's my focus, hopefully. There's even something like this, right? And maybe it looks nonsensical right now, but look, there's even some little berries hidden away that can be represented just through a simple sphere or ellipse or just circle in this case, right? But it's not all nonsensical because we even have actual flowers, right? But then coming out of that are just some leaves. And I could do something like this. Hold up. Right? And then just yeah. Cool. But again, I'm going to draw over that. And that's okay. I think I've realized that drawing over is fine. Right? We could just draw over that. And it kind of adds to the chaos as well. The most important thing is like I'm trying to think of these as actual leaf shapes. And that's why I keep referring back to the reference as well, because that informs these leaf shapes for me, right? Maybe this is a good practice in gesture too. I don't know specifically, but it could be, right? Something like that. Maybe the same thing over here. And then we're back. Two more of these. And we can vary it too. We can really vary it. Like back here, maybe. Oh shit. See, I need to focus on the lines. Right? And this is another thing why I keep saying, not keep, but I said the whole patience when it comes to art thing. Because nonsensical lines can be something very coherent if you have specific intent behind them, right? That's very important. I'd like to think to keep in mind, which is there's always purpose in chaos. That was pretty deep. Write that down. But yeah, there's always purpose in chaos or some shit, right? And then afterwards, I'll be adding shadows, which is just very simple blacks. But you see how even adding those shadows won't be too difficult because I've established the form. As crazy as it might seem, now we know this is a pot of flowers, right? Like the corner of a pot of flowers. I could even just add general shading based on the image. It's like kind of darker here again. Following the contour. Maybe not following the contour perfectly, clearly. Right? But it's okay. I can literally just do something like this as well. Will I do it well? Yet to be determined, but I guess I did do something. And then if we want to have shadows, I could do this. Well, I'm going to try to do this. Eh, didn't really work. It is what it is. But that's okay. Maybe I can just add a bit more lines. When in doubt, completely fuck the piece up, right? Oh god, the lines. The lines, the lines, the lines. But now, would you look at that? Just because I've added so much more shit, it's like, oh my god, I don't know where to look. Therefore, it is amazing. Okay, whatever. Okay, let's add more of this. And you can probably hear me being like, all right, fucking, even I'm getting exasperated because there's so much shit. But this is where you have to make little creative renderings, right? If I'm getting bored, what is it that I've always sort of parroted as of recently, but I've always thought the art is not boring, the action is not boring, it is us. We are the boring ones. If you fail to make art interesting, that's because you are not interesting. And I would like to stand by that because there's so much that you can do with just some fucking wonky looking squiggly ass lines, right? So yeah, now we can just start adding shadows, specifically in some spots that need them, like this, right? This is where you indicate that things are overlapping one another. And overlap they shall. How do I know where to put it? I don't. I'm just looking at a set series of lines, and then I'm just making my own form in my head, and then I'm adding the shadow. It's as simple as I can say it. I don't even know which ones I created that actually were supposed to be forms and which ones aren't. Also, I don't know when to chill on the shadowing and when to continue. That's another thing I want to mention is could very well be overdoing it. But we'll have to see, right? Maybe some cast shadows. What are cast shadows? I have a very faint idea of what they are, and that it's a shadow that's being cast, right? So that's just it. I don't know much else. Form shadows are shadows that inform the shape of the object. But again, I'm learning alongside you. We could leave this. I think there's enough shadows that inform whatever they need to inform. Right, I'm trying not to be squishy with my lines as well. Okay. Yeah, let's leave that. This might look like a fucking bag of crumpled garbage. Or hopefully it looks like flowers, right? Like a bunch of flowers or leaves or whatever. I think it looks more like crumpled garbage. Oh, Viggy, you live and you learn, right? Maybe I can just add like a big ass leaf looking things at the end here. Yeah, that literally just looks like a fucking bag of crumpled garbage and paper. But it's my crumpled garbage and paper. Sure. Okay. And I guess that is whatever the fuck that is. Jesus Christ. I should just stop talking when I try to explain things. Because clearly I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. But isn't that the beauty of it? I'm an amateur, just like you, for real, for real. Okay, these look very messy, which we need to get rid of the messy aspect. Okay, and then maybe it's just slowly getting lighter over time. So I think I can make this darker as well. Same with this. Right. Then slowly but surely it lightens up. Again, I don't know what I'm doing. I think that just looks worse now. Bro, this doesn't make sense. I can't do this anymore. My fucking head hurts. I don't know what I've done. Flower. Here, let me just draw this. This is what we were going for, right, guys? That's what we were intending on. Even that looks shitty. Fuck it. Just add more rendering details. There you go. Now it's legit. And with that, I guess, thank you for watching this catastrophe known as rendering. Very difficult, very fun. Like, again, my choice words aside, I enjoyed that quite a fucking bit. So, thank you for, as always, keep drawing. The fuck? Yeah, sure, whatever. As always, keep drawing and give me money. Thank you, goodbye.